Hello, everybody, and welcome to Last Man Standing. I'm Dan Hollifield, and we had a really great stupid o'clock tonight. Let me tell you. Let me bring on Joe Dog, and it's a great treat to have him here, and Bill Sartain, and we may even have Stephanie here just in a little bit if she's doing some computations.
Yeah, on
As
an interesting story.
yes, the flying manhole cover into outer space, not from, but into, um, which was probably a working test of the original Orion spacecraft, which was nuclear bomb powered. Um, Boy, that would be a fun thing to build in outer space because you sure wouldn't want to launch it from your neighborhood. Boca Chica would not let one of those go off.
No, no,
Much,
no.
no.
That would be great to launch something like that off the backside of the moon.
Oh Lord! Well, in orbit would be even better. I mean,
Well, you'd need the moon to sort of back up that, to give that nuclear detonation a kick.
well, that would work. Yeah. I don't know that it's entirely necessary due to the it. It would definitely work. Yeah, and it would be something fun to film. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. What the
rack up.
Vulcans asked the Federation, "Why do you need a second warp drive? We want to throw it in the sun. Why do you want to throw it in the sun to see see what happens?" Okay, give them.
Hey, Mike. Good to see you.
Hey, Mike. Yeah,
I'm
yeah. You
currently
need.
tracking the dumpster fire, which it seems to have originated at Brian K. Morris's house in Lafayette, Indiana, and is now currently going by Carl's for some reason. But
It's headed to the
so
Mississippi
it's a
with the meltwater.
westerly direction that it's traveling. And well, we have all the flood warnings around here so much. I don't think it has to look for a river to travel. I think some areas it could just go down a street.
Yeah. Believe me, if it started uphill at Signal Mountain, there's no telling how far that thing would go if it would negotiate all the turns. Oh, no. Wow. Uh, I'm just seeing a mushroom cloud with a manhole cover flying out of the top of it. That's just that image will not go away. Uh,
I'm actually picturing the artwork right now. A great mushroom cloud and all that, and just a little speck up above it,
yeah, really. Traveling fast.
trailing fire.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying about the casing for one of the early atom bomb tests. It's in a park in Socorro, New Mexico. It's about the size of a car door, and it is roughly 8 or 9 inches thick, and the inside of it looks like it's all spiky and everything where the explosion actually melted it, and
Uh,
it as it was flying away it was trailing liquid droplets of cast iron in its wake. And I've got a picture of it somewhere. That was quite a while back
Now,
when
is it still hot? Are you allowed to touch it, or is it still hot?
no, it's sitting there in a public park.
Oh, okay.
You can touch it all you want, buyer beware. Yeah, you can touch it all you want. I actually saw it at night, and it does not glow, so it might not be as hot as. It's definitely hotter than the normal background radiation, I would say, even after all these years. But
Well, Hiroshima and Nagasaki are actually thriving little parks right there at the ground zeros.
mhm. Now I was told at one time in Las Vegas, they would run tours out to close by the nuclear test grounds, as close as they were allowed to get during uh, nuclear tests, so that people would get to see the world's biggest firecrackers going off
Yeah.
as
To
a
see
tour.
the flash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
You could actually see the flash from the strip, just sort of light up the sky for a minute.
I have seen a lot of the footage of some of the early tests, and they are incredibly impressive. Just even though back in the day they were firecrackers compared to what we can build now,
Yeah.
but still, some of those things, and especially the later ones that were out on Bikini Atoll, those were incredibly dramatic. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. What was it? Was it Oppenheimer or whatever? When the first one went off, it said, "What have I done?"
well, that's one report. Another one is he quoted the Bhagavad Gita. I do believe the title of the book is. He's it's a phrase from one of the uh, senior gods from India. And it says, "I have become death, destroyer of worlds."
That's it.
And there's another one. There's another story where a guy had a little parabolic mirror with a clip on it, stuck a cigarette in it, and held it up when the atom bomb went off and lit his cigarette with an atom bomb.
With the
Just,
photons.
yeah, just with the flash of light. I mean, it was before the heat had time to get there. So
That's the
yeah,
guy you want to invite to your party.
yeah, that's the guy I'm going to put in charge at the grill, right?
Or
Oh,
Bill Murray
No,
would say,
don't
I'm got a
don't
party
put
with
the
that guy.
don't put the hot dogs on until the half life of the uranium goes down. Um, Lord have mercy. Uh, it's kind of hard to segue from something that exciting to where we got now. Oh, Bill, I was very glad that Ryan complimented your artwork on Stupid O'clock, because you should get more recognition from folks like us who see your work and go, "Good Lord! Oh, here's Stephanie. Let's bring her in."
here's our answer. No, if Stephanie's gonna give us this answer, well,
Okay.
hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hit the wrong button. There we go.
There you go.
All right. I did. This is rough. I estimated the number of days since the thing would have been launched, and I worked that out, converted it to hours, roughly, and then determined that the thing is close to 71 billion miles away. And the distance to the heliopause from Earth is only 89 and a fraction billion miles away. It is still inside the solar system, barely. In about 16.8 years, it will leave the solar system.
So it's out there with the Voyagers.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is.
Wouldn't that
Well,
be
I
so?
think that experiment failed. I think we need to try it again.
So, how did the Voyagers get there faster? Just gravity assists?
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, you get um, they could accelerate. This thing is not accelerating.
No,
Yeah.
no, it had one speed, and
that also assumes that the atmosphere didn't decelerate it any also.
yeah.
Well, it surely did that. So,
But yeah.
now, well, I just thought of something. If they launched it at sort of noontime, Could we have put it in the sun?
Hmm.
That's possible. That's
Yeah,
possible.
So instead of being out into the Oort cloud, it's
Vaporized.
yeah, pretty much.
So yeah,
it's what
yeah.
it's what kills the sun in a few million years.
Either
Because it
that or either that or it's orbiting Mercury and we'll find it.
No, it's not gonna. It's. I don't think if it's traveling at multiple times the escape velocity of the sun, it ain't gonna be orbiting anything in the solar system.
There, yeah. Would even Jupiter be big enough to slow it down?
No, if the sun's not big enough, no,
Okay.
no, it's
it may have changed course and sped it up.
yeah, yeah. So
Now
that
we know what that Amura thing was. It's that damn manhole cover spread out really thin.
well, actually, it's like somebody else's manhole cover coming through.
Phew.
Oh Lord, I
All
love the
right, now,
reporting on that. They couldn't decide where the people that were trying to blow it all out of proportion couldn't decide whether it was a solar sail or alien spaceship or what. But it was a big slab of something that was tumbling over and over and over again as it came through.
Did they ever figure out where it came from?
That's a good question. I don't know what
um,
the trajectory was, but I don't.
let me see.
If I remember from the original reportage, there wasn't anything on that course for quite a ways. So, and that was one of the things that made everybody think that it came in from a different solar system, along
Oh,
with the
it
speed.
was yeah. The speed alone would tell us that. Um, I'm looking to see what.
This moment of silence was brought to you by.
Sorry, I'm just trying to read and absorb. It was coming from the direction of the star Vega,
That's a long
but
ways
at
off.
the time that it entered the solar system, well, at the time that it would have been leaving that vicinity, Vega wasn't where it is now.
Yeah.
So, um, the velocity profile indicates an extrasolar origin, but appears to rule out the closest dozen stars.
Okay.
In fact, and I'm reading from Wikipedia here, but based on my knowledge, I know this is reasonably correct. The closeness of Oumuamua's velocity to the local standard of rest might mean that it has circulated the Milky Way several times and thus may have originated from an entirely different part of the galaxy.
Yeah. That
So
makes sense.
it's basically impossible to determine where
Where
it
it
came
came.
from.
The point of origin.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
and
it could have been out there for
a long.
13, 14 billion years.
One speculation is that it was ejected from a stellar system in one of the young star associations, specifically Carina or Columba, within a range of about 100 parsecs, about 45 million years ago. Um, it may have been ejected from a white dwarf system. Whew. About
were
1.3 million years ago, the object may have passed within a distance of 0.16 parsecs, or about half a light year, to the nearby star TYC 4742 1027-1, but its velocity is too high to have originated from that system, and it probably just passed through the Oort cloud, that system's Oort cloud, at a relative speed of about 15 kilometers a second, or about 34,000 miles an hour, which is going to play. I bet they had all kinds of comets coming in.
Oh yeah, really. Um, that's faster than NASCAR is too. So that bugger's booking.
Yeah.
Well, have we got any idea of what it's aimed at now?
Mm,
Probably,
Bot.
probably nothing directly, but
yeah, I don't think so. Um, in May of 20, let's see where I lost it. In April of 2020, astronomers presented a new possible scenario for the origin, that it could be a fragment from a tidally disrupted planet. And in that case, then it's not a comet or an asteroid. It's a chunk of planet, maybe.
maybe.
it's a big rock.
It's a big honking rock.
Did they ever come down to a size?
I don't remember anybody ever being able to give it a size.
Oh, yeah, that was up here someplace. Let me look. Well, they don't have a hard size. It's somewhere between 300 and 3,000 feet long, with both the width and thickness estimated to be between about 100 and 550 feet.
That's thin.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a planet killer, or would it?
With that speed,
Yeah.
it okay, iffy, but it would have to come in at exactly the right course at exactly the right time, and thankfully it didn't.
Yeah.
Um,
But you're talking about over 26 kilometers a second.
I'd go through the planet.
well, it'd certainly make it ring like a gong, even if it didn't do anything else. Yeah, that would do some hellacious damage.
Well, depending on how, it'll either spear it or slap it good.
Hey, even a speck of paint at that kind of speed would be some major damage.
You're looking at over 58,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
All right. So
I'm glad it went. I'm glad it just kept on rolling. That wasn't thunder. That was my belly growling. Sorry.
That's even faster than Ryan Permerson can talk.
Well, put it like this, okay? What did I say? It was 58. The Chicxulub impactor is estimated to have been moving at about 40,000 miles an hour, or Mach 60. This is 58,000 miles an hour.
That's a lot of ergs.
That's a lot of ergs. Not something you'd want to have. That's why there's a commercial that they're playing right now, and it's using also Sprach Zarathustra.
Yeah.
For the music.
Oh, yeah.
It starts off that way with the guy in the spacesuit, and I'm sure you've seen it. And it's all about, oh no, we don't need to be going to space. We need to stay here and work on Earth and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I asked the dinosaurs how smart that was.
Hmm.
So, anyhow. Um,
And that little rock is out there with our name painted on it.
yeah, somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, I mean, it's like Thanos. It's inevitable. Um, the smart thing to do is to try and find as many of the damn things as we can and come up with a good plan to kind of nudge it away a little bit off course so that it doesn't actually hit us.
The
Yeah,
problem is that the ones that are coming right at you, you don't see.
yeah,
Um, if the way we find asteroids is we take a picture, a picture, a picture, a picture, a picture. So we see bleep, 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 bleep. And if it's moving fast enough, we see zoop in the photo.
But
But
if it's coming
if it's
straight
coming
at
right
you,
at you, it's a
it
point.
just gets bigger.
Exactly. And it doesn't get bigger until the last phases of the approach.
and
And
by then it's too
and
late anyway.
yeah, and you can't tell it from the background star. That background star field.
Oh, when my comet deflection book comes out, you're really going to tear into the math on that.
It,
Oh,
it it's like looking at a baseball coming at you, a professional pitch baseball, while you're standing at the plate with a bat.
yeah. By the time your brain can comprehend it's coming at you, the catcher already has thrown it back.
Yeah, and it's just kind of one of those. Uh, we have to try and find it before it actually comes around and aims at us. But the one with our name on it, we might not see coming.
So here's the question for, well, any one of you, because I don't know the answer. Why cannot we just, once it hits the certain trajectory, certain part of our orbit, and it pulls off some sort of alarm and then gets Star Wars zapped into a million pieces?
Yeah,
Because then you
well,
got a shotgun blast.
exactly. We've read the same book.
Yeah.
Larry and Jerry did a really good job with that.
Yeah, but I mean that's just the I knew that before I read their book. That's just the physics of it. It's the difference between a slug and a
A cloud of pellets.
yeah, exactly. So can we get me out of the solo viewing here?
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Sorry,
Uh,
Joe took over my show.
Hmm.
Well, it is his channel.
Yeah, but I'm about to give you full comms again, Dan. I'm thinking about tapping out.
are you fading?
I'm feeling it. I felt it during the other show, but I took a couple deep breaths, took a slug of my clear American Mandarin orange, and it sort of helped. So, yeah. But thank you for working out the math, Stephanie. So there's
It's all crude. It's all crude.
yeah,
I didn't try to work
yeah, yeah.
anything because I
So
didn't.
it's either burned up in the sun or well past Jupiter.
Oh yeah, it's out in the. It would be out in the Oort cloud nearing the heliopause.
All right.
So we're it's and it only about less than 17 years away from making heliopause.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't that be so funny? One of the last images Voyager takes is a tumbling manhole cover.
That would be nice. Except that would be the last thing for Voyager, and I want Voyager to keep going.
Oh yeah. There's two of
What
them.
is that coming at us? It looks like a Susan B. Anthony dollar. Oh no, wait a minute. It's much bigger.
So that's where we left it.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all have a good one, guys. I'm out of here.
All right. Take
And
it easy.
Take care, Joe.
I almost screwed up, Dan. I pushed in broadcast. I'm glad it says. I'm glad it said ask you twice.
You, the thing that Bill said to Carl.
Yeah.
No, you're still running. I clicked in broadcast. And, oh shit!
I know. Well, you have had over 2 years of running these shows.
Yeah, over 2 years, and it just took me a month to forget how to do it.
Well, you were not well.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Steph, for jumping in on the show tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you,
No
Dan.
problem.
Thank you, Bill. I will see y'all.
Day after
Saturday.
tomorrow.
Yeah, day after tomorrow. Good
Unless
night.
you show up in the green room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good
get
night.
some rest. Take care of yourself.
All right. We'll holler at
better.
y'all later. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Slide over just a little bit, Bill. We can only
there you
see.
go. How's that? Is that better?
We can
Oh,
only
no,
see
wait a minute.
here
Okay,
now.
here. Well, hang on. I just got to readjust this. There we go. Better? Oh, no, wait a minute.
It'd be
Let's
better
see
if you were
here.
Michaela.
We got,
Yeah.
okay, there we go. Because I don't promote myself enough anyway. I'll just stay like this. And
Now he's
I'm
talking off the top of his head.
just call me Shorty. There we go. No, you keep changing these things, Dan, and now I got my thumb over the camera lens, and
I just don't want your computer to fall off the stand. I mean,
well, you know,
I've got mine where I can just kind of maneuver the camera a little bit, but it's nice and flat there. So
at one time, I
kind of like the state of North Dakota. It's nice and flat, but
right. Well, one time I was thinking about buying the external camera, and I stumped 3 or 4 of the Geek Squad people at Best Buy about trying to hook it up to my Samsung tablet. And my Samsung tablet was new enough. Excuse me, I got really horrible neck pains here the last couple of days.
Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
got to put the cream on it. Put the cream on it. But long story short, after they tried about 5 or 6 different things to run a camera on my tablet, what I either could use was too pixelated. And finally, this one other guy just said, why aren't you using yours?
What was built into it? Yeah. That's a nice thing about my iPad or my laptop. The camera was superb, but it didn't have the processing power to be able to stream. So I got this camera to plug into the workstation computer, and it does pretty well. I mean, I'm in focus. Well, the picture's in focus. I'm kind of fuzzy, but oh, lovely.
My biggest problem is that I have neither a really high resolution I'm just using the camera in my laptop.
Yeah.
And that's not that high resolution. Plus, I don't really have a good lighting in here. So I'm in the den, and it wasn't intended to be like,
Mm-hmm. Well, I've just got a regular little lamp and one of those gooseneck things that you can angle around, and I've got LED bulbs in both of them, and they are very, very. The temperature is entirely wrong for the cameras, so I had to put these little blue plastic cereal bowls over top of both of them to change the temperature of the lighting more to blue so that I wouldn't look like I was a Halloween ghost, basically. Um, and it's very difficult because I have to use these things basically without the filters during the daytime in different directions so that I can see what I'm doing in this room. And adjusting the one that's a gooseneck to the right spot uh, over and over again every week so that I don't look like I'm one of Joe Dog's uh, Ghostbusters sort of guests is a bit of a pain in the posterior. But if I fiddle with it enough, I actually look like I've got pink skin instead of albino. So I'm doing okay.
I look horrible regardless. I got a lamp on the table next to my bed that's on, and then I got this, which I don't know if you'll be able to see it. If I could turn it far enough over to it. And yes, I just snapped it off screen, but anyway, nope, that's my microphone. And yeah, there
Yeah,
it is.
that,
And I just bend it all the way down
that's
so there's
almost
not too much light.
that's almost exactly what I'm using, Bill. Except I've got mine pointed at the green screen so that I can have the background. Um, now, and as for the color, yours is more natural than mine. Actually, I don't have this much red in my face, so you've got natural skin tones there, Cherokee boy.
Yeah, I don't know what. Oh, God.
No,
The
that
sun is out. Oh.
don't
Um,
don't do that. I've got to be at work when that happens.
yeah. No, it's just the bulb in it that I put in there. I can't remember what watt it is. I just wanted something small.
Well, I've replaced almost all the light bulbs in the house with LEDs. I started off replacing them with the compact fluorescents when those were brand new, and that cut my electric bill by 75% for the lighting anyway. It didn't affect the refrigerator or the stove or uh, air conditioner or anything, but as far as the lights that we leave on,
Is that the
it
spiral
made,
dealies?
that's what they were, yeah. And then when LEDs came out, I bought a bunch of them and replaced all the little spiral compact fluorescents with LEDs.
What did you do with the spirals? They got mercury in them.
They're stored for when something burns out. We need an emergency light bulb.
Okay.
I mean, the
I
ones.
just, I was like, okay, this is supposed to be better for the environment, but it's got toxic stuff in it.
Uh-huh.
Man,
I do the same thing with those that I do with the tube type fluorescents. I take them to the landfill and I put them in their special disposal for
okay.
fluorescent lights, and they deal with them however they deal with them. I don't know, but they're supposed to be paying attention to this stuff and not just going ahead and running over them with a bulldozer and crushing it down to just glass and some aluminum and releasing all the chemicals inside. Uh, the LEDs, I've got one LED bulb that has been being used as a nightlight in the bathroom for almost 20 years without ever being turned off. It's still going.
Yeah.
And it uses about as much electricity as an old-fashioned incandescent Christmas tree light bulb. So two and a half watts basically. but it gives off about 40 watts of light, whatever that is in lumens, which is the real measure of that sort of thing. But
Didn't realize I still had my mute button on.
Oh.
No, I was going to say I got some going on 9 years continuous use, and that's turning on and off. I don't just leave them on like they used to say. Oh, if you leave them on, you don't use as much, or they won't burn out as quickly as turning them on and off. Of course, they were referring to the incandescent bulbs then.
When I first started budgeting and going to whatever the latest light bulb technology was, I had at least two lights in the house that never ever got turned off. The one in the bathroom, and then I've got one in a pole lamp in the living room. And then when Lindsay and I got married, she started turning the pole lamp off at night when we went to bed. Like that 5 watts is really going to burn up a whole lot of juice. But and now it's an LED, so it's using 2.5 instead of 5. Originally, it was a fluorescent ring light that used 25 watts, but gave off 150 watts of light, whatever number of lumens that is. I don't know. That's the real measure, not the equivalent incandescent bulb wattage. But now we've only got that one light bulb in the house that never gets turned off. And it's enough to where when you wake up at 4 a.m. and you've got to go and you get through the bathroom door, you can see everything in the bathroom, however dimly, and because she's put curtains up in front of it, because it's right above the washer and dryer, and she doesn't want the washer and dryer on display, so she's got some nice curtains in front of the washer and dryer, but the light bulb still shines through, and that thing has not been off but a few times in the last, I'd say 20 years, longer than Lindsay and I have been together. Because I had the light bulb longer than I had my wife. So, and it doesn't use a lot of juice, but it puts off a respectable amount of light, so you can see the bathroom. I mean, I wouldn't want to try and shave my beard off with a straight razor with that light, but might wind up looking like an extra from one of those movies about the demon barber of Fleet Street. But
well, I was totally against any type of fluorescent lighting for the house, because at the time when they had the little curly Q bulbs and that you couldn't dispose of efficiently and legally, nobody around here took them. And but for me, the main, I guess, drawback from it was I've seen people who had their house lit up with them, and their house looked like the interior of a factory. It just such a glare that was just did not look good at all, did not look inviting. Then when they went to the compact fluorescents that looked like incandescent bulbs that had the actual soft light features, I fell in love and never went back. And I can't imagine how many bulbs in the last 9 years, the regular incandescent bulbs, I would have bought. And it's just a no-brainer.
I did find out the hard way about those Curly Q compact fluorescents.
Mm-hmm.
They do not like being pointed downward. They
They
burn out.
also,
They burn out 3 times as fast
Oh,
wow.
as they would with the base down and the curly Q up.
Well,
Um,
they also don't like dimmer switches.
oh no, you've got to buy special ones if you want to. We've got LED on the headboard of the bed and in the ceiling light in the master bedroom because there are dimmer switches on both of those, and you have to buy special bulbs that are geared for dimmer switches. Otherwise, you're gonna burn stuff up. Now, my little brother, the reincarnation of Nikola Tesla, an electrical genius, a licensed electrician, had a ceiling fan in the living room hooked up to a dimmer switch to speed it up and slow it down, and he kept wondering why he had to keep replacing the dimmer switch. which which tells me that not even geniuses get it right 100% of the time. Oh Lord. I replaced the dimmer switch with a standard on off and replaced the ceiling fan because it burned out too. Um, but like I said, just about everything in the house now is LED bulbs. There are one or two. I had to put a regular old fashioned incandescent in my closet, my walk in closet, so that I could find and pick out the right color shirt to go with the right color pants. I needed something that was, really, really bright so that I could see colors correctly. That's one thing about the fluorescents and the LEDs. They do not put out as much light as you need for full color vision.
now, Dan, there's other ways that you can see colors.
Yeah, but I don't do drugs anymore.
Oh,
And on that note, I shall be right back. Y'all talk amongst yourselves and entertain the one person that's
Well,
watching us right now.
while Dan
Hi,
while
Chris.
Dan goes to lick a psychedelic frog. What is there a person? Oh, Chris is in there. I did not realize it. And it just what he say something about me. Da, 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 da. Knowing cool people. Yeah, I know a lot of those cool people, but I don't hang out with them because they're always asking me for money. And that gets to be a drag, stone cold drag. So, but, and I'm thinking we're over our little ordeal with our weather tonight. And we have an auction we go to on Friday nights. That's Laura and I's one night out a week as far as doing something we like to do instead of doing something we have to do. And I know the last time, a couple of weeks ago, when they had a major weather event like this, they ended up canceling the auction because people come from all over. And
And they couldn't make it.
well, they wanted the people to be safe. The people, I would just say, all of the regulars that go every week are kind of like an auction family. And we even have a Facebook group when the auction was shut down in 2020 because of COVID. And it was shut down from February through, I think, the middle of July. So we kind of all kept together and kept up making sure everybody was okay that way. And they kind of kept the group after that. Now the owner of the auction posts the link to Auction Zip on there every Wednesday to where you can see some of the things coming up in the Friday auction. So,
That's cool.
but yeah. So no no mention of it being canceled this week, so we're going to attempt to go still as long as the weather cooperates with us. And then Tuesday next week, we got to make a return trip to Chicago to go deal with stuff at Laura's dad's house. Unless there's another major weather event, which so far right now there's not. It's actually supposed to be in the lower 50s. And up by Chicago, that's quite a ordeal for mid-late February. Being in the 50s is almost unreal up there.
Oh, goody. It looks like next weekend is going to be kind of nice because I have to be driving to a convention by myself. So I'd just as soon have decent weather for it.
Which convention?
Confinement.
Oh, okay. So that's middle of Tennessee?
Yeah, Lebanon, Mount Juliet area.
Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a good time.
Thank you. They normally I do a fair chunk of programming for them because it's small.
Yeah.
But they told me this time, they said, no, Steph, we're not letting you do any programming this time. So you just come, show up, and let us love on you was kind of.
Yeah, and what if you get bored and you want to do a panel?
They actually have a couple that if I decide I want to, I can step into.
Okay. That's good because I know.
I'll just pull a Neo and go, upgrades, and step forward.
Panels. We need lots of panels.
Corrugated.
I don't know about that, but all the ones I've been on have gotten bent and twisted in the process of the panel going on. So
I've seen some people on some panels that they seem corrugated at times, but
well, no, just bent and twisted. Yeah, that's the way it is with our crowd. You either get somebody needs to modulate your voice, or somebody gets really entertaining. Oh, I miss being at live conventions so much. I really do. I'm glad that Liberty is going to do their damnedest to be live this year. I'm really tired of virtual conventions.
I don't know why they don't have any dead conventions, because that would be wonderful. All those people getting together and talking about Jerry Garcia.
Yeah, I think George Romero has a copyright on that they don't want to infringe. The enforcers are a little bit rough. They follow you everywhere and they never stop.
Well, I imagine if they put the word grateful in front of it, there's nothing that Romero could do because they got that copyrighted probably before he did.
You know, from what I've read, a few of the guys from the Grateful Dead have decided that they're not going to stop touring just because Jerry's gone. I mean, it's just the core band members, and not even all of those. But they're going to keep doing stuff, and they're coming up with a new name that kind of harkens back to Grateful Dead without infringing on the copyright. So any Jerry's estate or whatever partnership, however they've got it all worked out, I don't know. I have not ever looked into what their contract was.
They ought to just kind of get together with Fish and do one big circuit that way, because they were kind of shadowing Grateful Dead anyway, and then they had followers that were pretty much like Deadheads. I don't know if you called them Fish heads. But
oh, now you've done it.
Yep.
But
we-
hey, that would be
have
the
an
obvious name. Fish heads. Come on now.
Now I have an earworm.
No. Well, I was actually thinking Dead Fish. I'm going, that's not a good name for a band.
Okay, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to give you both an earworm you don't want. Remember on the first generation of Saturday Night Live,
Yeah, we remember.
the original Not Ready for Primetime Players era from,
We remember the fish heads
yeah.
sequence.
Roly poly fish heads, fish heads, fish heads.
Eat
Eat
them
'em
up,
up, yum.
yum. That's exactly what I was referring to. That was
Oh,
the earworm.
okay.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
I love those. I love those films. And Albert, oh, what was his last name? They used to put his films on there on SNL. Oh, good grief. There was one where he was sick. He was usually doing some little film, kind of a parody of an informational film. Albert Brooks.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't think of the last name for a moment. But my favorite one of his is the one where he's actually sick in bed. He's got somebody on the phone and he's trying to talk to them. And he's the whole time, and he's got his nose all stuffed up, and he's getting Kleenex and that. And then the guy comes knocking on the door because he ordered a pizza, so he invites him in, and that's what the whole short film is all about, and then at the end him saying, hopefully I'll be better next week.
Oh, Bill Mummy was in that group, and let me scroll back up.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
It
Nope.
kind of looks like a bot.
Yeah, I know it kind of looks like a bot, but
I know it's not.
well, I can't tell. I mean, they're not posting links to anything,
right.
No.
They're just non sequiturs.
Nonsense sequiturs.
Well,
But
it's the thing from the Fantastic Four, and that was his.
Yeah.
well, we know that, but yeah.
I mean, Bill and I are both. Well, Bill's even more of a comics guy than I ever was. So yeah, we got that bit.
Well, he's responding, so
Yeah.
sort
But-
of.
So does a mushroom if you walk close enough to it.
Yeah.
And put it under a grow light. Oh no, mushrooms, you wouldn't do that. You need them in the dark though, don't you?
Pretty much. No, I mean,
Kind of a cool, damp place.
the ones around here, if it's not raining, you walk close enough to them, and they give off a little cloud of smoke, which is mushroom spores. And
Well,
it's
the
a
thing
very-
I would,
it's a very limited vocabulary, is what I'm saying there.
rather talk to is the one from the Addams Family. Come on now, or even Cousin It. Although I don't really understand them half the time, but
Really, Cousin Ed's no harder to understand than my cat.
well,
Well, they speak the same language just about, but Cousin Ed's a little bit higher pitched and faster.
I don't know where my cat went. He got up here there for a while during stupid o'clock and was just purring away, and then he decided to get down, and he went on off. Then he came back a few minutes later and kind of walked through, and now he's gone. So I don't know.
he's out catting around.
Well, he's an
I would
indoor
look
cat.
I would look wherever the munchies were.
I'm not
That would
hearing
be the
anything.
first place, huh?
Well, I'm not hearing sounds of munching.
Hmm.
Chris, you couldn't understand Miss Othmore?
Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, 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 wah.
We all do.
Actually, for the longest time, all adults on the Peanuts cartoons sounded like that.
Mhm.
And then later on, when they started doing all the bicentennial stuff and
Yeah.
everything else, of course, you heard adults talking like adults at that time.
But those were all of the historical stuff and everything. So,
Hmm.
Chris, why don't you come on in?
This is
Really?
America, Charlie Brown series.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I would suspect because Chris has not already popped in that he is either at work or on the way home or just getting home and having to eat something. But I could be wrong because that is mere speculation on my part.
Or he's out clobbering with the thing.
Hmm.
But
Now there
He just
is
got
an
home.
image. There's a real Chris and the thing out night
so
Now,
this
all you would
photograph,
all you'd really need to complete that image is the Sontaran from Madame Vestra's little Paternoster gang from Doctor Who, going, "Hey, you want to have a fight? It'd be fun.
mhm.
Prepare to die for the glory of the Sontaran Empire." I don't think so. It's clobbering time. Oh Lord.
Chris, you missed the calculations I ran earlier. The story about the manhole cover that got blown into space by the nuke. I calculated how far out it probably was, assuming it didn't go straight into the sun.
I swear they did that on a Bugs Bunny cartoon with Marvin the Martian.
No, Marvin would have been the one flying instead of a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's according to my calculations, if it didn't, and they're very rough calculations, if it didn't fly into the sun, it's probably less than 17 years from achieving interstellar status.
So it's almost as far out as Voyager's.
Pop that one up. Pop that one up.
No, Joe. If that had happened, Chris, it would have already reached like 3 times light speed. It would already be flying past, way past
Alpha Centauri.
Centauri. Let's see, what was it? 50 years ago? Yeah,
It was about 65 years ago.
Oh Lord, it'd be out as far as there's one of the stars in Orion's belt that is about 65 light years.
Yeah, what size does Orion wear?
Medium.
42 regular.
But he only gave it 3 stars when he ordered it from Amazon.
Oh, doggone.
Thank you, Chris. For what it's worth, you know what? I've been doing better lately. I don't know. Let me see if I can get everything aside. Can y'all see this?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a little silver heart with Daryl's fingerprint engraved on it.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about last week. Okay.
And it came in last Friday. And so I had it for Valentine's Day, which I was happy about. But it's like I've got a piece of him now. Because I can reach up here and I can touch this and I can feel the fingerprint. And somehow or other, that's just comforting to me. And it's made things a lot easier for me. So it doesn't mean I still don't occasionally tear up, but it's not as often as it was. So, and thank you, Chris. I'm trying hard.
We're all trying hard.
Yeah.
Well.
Sorry, I just put a damper on everything, didn't I?
No, you didn't. No, you
Well,
didn't. I'm trying to figure out how I can make a smart ass remark and still be respectful. And
oh, I got one. And Dan's thinking, should I block him now or give him about 5 seconds to get half of it put out and then I'll block him?
I'll wait till you're in mid-word.
Okay. Well, I did a second sketch today, which if you want to see that, you got to go on my artwork page or on mine, but I'll show you something else I posted. And I can't remember if I posted it in the Stupid O'Clock group or Uncle Carl's Secret Humor group, because it was hilarious and insightful or informational at the same moment. But today marks the 64th anniversary of Johnny Hart's comic strip BC.
BC, yes, I did see that one on Facebook. Yes,
And anyway,
yeah.
he asked for a sign,
Yep.
so
At least it didn't say wrong turn.
yeah.
You
I
missed
like
your
that.
exit. No.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Oh, and Bill never ceases to amaze
It-
me with his artwork. I mean, seriously, I've seen stuff that he's done that it's just Bill wants to draw this today, or Bill drew this some time ago and wants to show it off again. And it's always good. It is always good, and it is. I wish I could do things like that. I really do. I'm jealous. And
Well, that's why you write books, because I can't. I couldn't fit a pen in my foot to write down stuff to use for part of a chapter in a book, let alone a whole book or anything. And I don't think I ever will be. And so you go with what you're best at, or at least good at. I don't say I'm best at it. There's always room for improvement. And if I ever thought I was best at it, this is where you kind of need, I've forgotten the term now. BKM uses it a lot on his show about people who don't believe in themselves or whatever. It's
imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Thank you. Haven't heard it for a while, but anyway, I think everybody needs a little bit of imposter syndrome, because when you get too comfortable with things and you say, man, I'm doing great, I'm selling this and going to this convention and doing that and all, which, yeah, you do deserve a little pat on the back for that. But then if you think that too much and you don't,
Cocky.
yeah, you get, well, Stephanie, you get too comfortable, and then from too comfortable gets lazy. And when you get lazy, then that's when all the creative juices just evaporate. And so I like imposter syndrome, and
I can agree 100%. Now,
I think that if you keep just enough of it, just enough, and it's not that I ever think so much of myself, but if I got comfortable with certain things that I drew on and on, or people think that, I only draw cartoons or comic strip characters or whatever, then that is me getting a little too comfortable or a little too lazy. And then I turn around and I see something that somebody else drew, even if it's related to comics. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez is always posting stuff.
Mhm.
He does post some things that he's done lately. He's done some Wonder Woman sketches that blow me out of the water, but just a lot of his old stuff. And that's why I started posting a lot of my old stuff over again. For one, the people who didn't see it, and two, just that if I want to ever consider this a business or anything beyond a hobby, I I want to try to sell some of the other stuff. I'm not wanting to sell all of it.
Hey.
And there are a couple pieces here and there that I like too much for myself that I probably would never sell. I would sell a print of it, but maybe not the original.
Maybe not the original, unless you had an offer that was just, oh, I like this person. I think they should have this, like you did for Nita.
Yeah, yeah, and one right now, just off the top of my head, that I can't ever
There he
imagine
is.
selling. Oh, there we go.
We have
He
a little
decided to visit
exciting.
us. But the Adam West Batman sketch I did a couple of years ago, I can't ever imagine selling that one.
Get your butt out of my face now. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the cat.
Well, we're not standing up. So.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't name your cat Joe Dog, but
Hi, baby. Come on over here and sit down.
Joe Dog's cats have dropped him down a notch or two on live stream.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There he is. The one, the only, the man that keeps me up till 6 o'clock in the morning talking about
stuff.
Yeah.
Chris.
Stuff.
Not tonight.
Oh,
Sunday night's fine.
Yeah.
Sunday night's fine, but I got to work tomorrow. So.
Yeah. Don't worry. No chance of that happening tonight. I'm a little bit tired myself, but y'all were having such a good show. I figured I'd join in and see if I couldn't keep it going a little bit longer.
Well, it's always a better show when you're in it.
Yeah. I mean, went from manhole covers to sketches to cat's butts.
Yeah, really.
Cats are proud of their butts. They don't mind showing them at all.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And I wish mine would bring her little butt in the house because it's raining outside and Lindsay couldn't get her on the porch. So she's out there in the pouring rain and won't come in. Hey,
I'm glad I cracked you up, Stephanie. I thought
you did. You did a good job on that one.
There's a little neighbor cat that I believe belongs to somebody in the trailer court down the way from me, but beautiful calico cat. And I started seeing her last year, but she was very skittish. She, curious enough to get so close to you, but then once you did get so close, and she'd take off like a rocket. So yesterday, I went out to get gas and run some errands and stuff. And when I come back, there she was sitting on my porch stoop. And I got out of the car thinking she's going to, boom, take off again. And she walked right out, walked right up to me and let me pet her very first time. And then when I was walking, and I didn't try to give her too much attention, because then it's like, now, I want some attention from you, but then I'm going to tell you when to stop, because that's kind of how a lot of cats are. And so I petted her and talked to her for 5 or 10 seconds. And then when I started to walk up to my stoop to go inside, she's following me.
Cool. And
of course, I didn't let her inside because she's too well fed. She has a collar. So I'm pretty much know she's somebody's, but she hangs around out here a lot. And I feed birds too, so that may be another reason.
Yeah, she's gonna get even more well fed.
Yeah.
I got birds and bunnies and
Oh,
rabbits even.
all kinds of prey.
My turtle doves finally showed up back up today for the first time since last fall. I was kind of worried about them. And even though I haven't seen any cardinals over here, Laura's yard is full of them. So I told her to stop hoarding all the cardinals. But one thing, my bunny rabbit usually comes up right around dusk to eat, was eating that I never realized, other than unless it was very, very hungry. But the squirrel corn, I take the cobs are big that I get from Real King, broke them in half to put out there for the squirrels, and that bunny rabbit was eating the squirrel corn.
Oh yeah, and
Oh, wow.
you'll find deer come up, or
Oh, yeah.
at least here, because I'm my backyard is the woods basically.
Mhm.
But you put something out for the birds, or you put something out outside the dog pen for the birds or the squirrels or whatever, and the deer will come up and have a little snack. Now there is a muscadine vine right on the edge of the property,
Mhm.
and I have come home from a LibertyCon in July when the muscadines did not get picked that year, and they had time to ferment on the vine. And there's a doe in the backyard just standing there, and I walked up to within about 6 feet, and she staggered away, and I'm going, oh wait, she's drunk. She's been at the muscadines.
Now, what is that, Dan?
It's a form of wild grape. It's got a very thick skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it
and
is
it makes some
essentially
good jelly juice wine.
yeah.
What is it? I mean, it tastes like grape.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it has a little bit different flavor than a grape, I think.
It's
but,
a little bit more sour.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
maybe
tart.
like a huckleberry or something.
It's very, very tart.
I
Most
haven't
of the
had a
time.
huckleberry, so I don't know.
Ooh,
Jeez.
not what it. Well, some people love huckleberry jam and preserves, and of course make huckleberry pie. I tasted it before, huckleberry pie, and the person who made it, I was assured, or well, I actually just knew that they were a good baker after eating their pecan pies and stuff like that. But I will say huckleberry is probably not for everybody.
Well, I would say
Kind of
that
like bosoberries.
muscadines are probably not for everybody either, because they are tart.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't ever,
Okay.
unless you leave them on the vine long enough to ferment, they don't ever get all that sweet. I mean, you can get them in the right year with the right amount of rainfall, with the right amount of sun.
Mhm.
They will be a little bit sweeter, but they're generally just a bit on the ooh, you thought this was going to be a grape? Oh no, sort of range. But they are a form of wild grapes.
Just in case you weren't aware, this is an actual thing. They have Scooby snacks
Okay.
For people or dogs?
for people.
Okay, because I knew they had them for dogs.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
Lord.
actually have them for people,
What are they?
They are like cinnamon flavored graham crackers. Almost.
Okay, that's what I was going to say,
Cookies.
graham cracker.
Okay.
Oh, good. I was afraid I was going to have to take a drug test at work.
No.
I'm gonna have to find it.
Well, I'm stuck on my Trader Joe's yogurt pretzels, and
I found out about them a few years ago, and they were doing something at work and they actually had some. And one of the guys that's got a young kid said they all the time buying them for him.
I have never seen them anywhere.
Yeah,
I bet,
they're
I bet they go really well with a small sip of Statesman bourbon.
Well,
they go really well with a soda. Period. But this is what they look like.
Dog biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
oh yeah, I should. But actually, Scooby snacks were never shaped like a dog biscuit. If you remember, they were always round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like a cookie. Yeah.
Yeah, they real
They
tiny,
actually-
but
They actually reminded me of horse pellets, the round ones,
mm.
or dog food.
And then the new Scooby movie episode that had Batman and Robin, they said, well, we don't have any Scooby snacks, but we have bat snacks, and they were cookies shaped like a bat. And I remember my mom baking some when we were little back in Cherokee for Halloween, and that's what she gave. Of course, this was back when getting homemade stuff for the trick-or-treaters was a whole lot better than buying
A whole
candy.
lot better than store-bought stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she did. They were chocolate cookies, not iced or anything, but she had a bat-shaped cookie cutter.
Hey, I've seen them.
I would have chowed down on them. I was a huge Batman fan when I was a kid.
Stephanie, they make the bigger boxes that have like the single bag in it
Mm-hmm.
that you would open like a box of cereal or whatever. And they have the more expensive ones, which are the little snack packs that they have in a thing, which is more for controlling portions for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But since I'm a big kid and an adult, I can eat as many as I want, so I don't have to worry about it.
Here you go. Hang on just a minute. Elron, you okay? What are you doing? Huh?
Yeah, I think probably if there's none around her area that you could probably get on Amazon and find them and just get them shipped right to your door.
I'd just do a Google search and find out who the manufacturer is.
I'm
They made
having trouble.
catalogs, and I got mine at Walmart, so I'm pretty sure. You
Oh, well, they probably got them.
I'm having trouble getting stuff. I'll order, like some over-the-counter medication or something. I just had some stuff. Basically, they refunded my money because can't do it. Can't find any.
Stephanie, do you have a Kroger in that area?
I do.
They might have some of the stuff that you're missing, and if you're a Plus Card member, you can get fuel points. So it's a
Okay.
win-win situation.
Yep. Definitely.
Oh, how many?
I just got 20 cents off every gallon of gas filling up my my van, and thankfully, my commute back and forth to work is enough to just short enough to where I can get almost an entire month off a tank of gas. And if we do some extracurricular traveling, like a night out or just a shopping weekend or something like that, that carves off another day or so of the work commute gas. But
I'll tell you, the Gas Buddy app is wonderful, and they have a lot of discounts for taking off of gas, and a lot of them, like if you go to a Pilot gas station to where if you're a member of their thing and you give your phone number to get the usual 3 cents off a gallon no matter what time it is,, Gas Buddy will combine. I got gas there 2 years ago, and it was $1.50 a gallon. And then if you go to Pilot gas station, you get 3 cents off a gallon no matter what time it is. Gas Buddy will combine. I got gas there 2 years ago, and it was $1.50 a gallon. 3 days ago, I think it was, and got my 3 cent off pilot discount, and then turned around and got another 20 cents off on the gas buddy. For it was just they call it a deal alert, but then also I got another 10 cents off because I reported prices that were not the right price on the other 3 gas stations besides the one that I was at. And you go report the regular, mid-grade, diesel, and that's points going to, because you figuring out a route. Say if I was coming down to visit any of you and I figure out my route, well, I want to go to Chattanooga or Huntsville, whatever, and I program that in on the Gas Buddy app, and they'll give you the route, and they'll give you every single gas station down along the route, and what one has the lowest prices, or what one that they'll have deal alerts on, and it's wonderful. I used to just use it for just to find out where the cheapest prices was around town. Never did think about getting the card. And with the card, you put in your driver's ID, which you just make up, and they ask for your odometer reading, and that's it. You can pay at the pump, and use the Gas Buddy card connects up with your bank account, and when it prints up the receipt, it'll show you, it itemizes every discount that you have on there.
Cool.
Now, I have really gotten to like the Kroger gas points. There was one year where we did enough grocery shopping and enough Christmas shopping at the big Kroger nearby that I was able to get $1 off the gas.
And what's good is they'll sometimes offer 4 times fuel points on gift cards.
Yep. And they will regularly offer, because I'm in the age range, the senior discounts for Fridays or Saturdays or whatever. You wind up getting double or triple gas points off of whatever groceries you buy. And it just so happens that every once in a while, Lindsay and I will do a great, big, huge shop. And fill up a big grocery cart full. And
they're good about doing
out to an affordable amount of groceries, plus you get fuel points off of that as well.
And they often do sometimes 4-day events on the weekend, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you'll get multiple points. I downloaded a digital coupon about a month ago. I got half a gallon of milk for 77 cents.
We haven't had a Kroger in Illinois in 30 years, but we got Ruler Foods, which supposedly sell Kroger product. And I thought, oh, great, because I remember when we used to have Kroger when I first moved here, and really liked it back in the day. And so when they said, Ruler is the same as Kroger, and I went up, and it was like a cheaper version of Save a Lot. And the stuff that they had wasn't even Save a Lot prices for back in the day. So I was, now they have them over in Indiana, nowhere close, but I believe up in BKM territory. And then down like Terre Haute, Indy, Greencastle, Indiana, somewhere around there. But
their headquarters is supposed to be in Cincinnati, Ohio, if I remember correctly. So the interesting thing is, they moved down here one point in time, and they brought out Red Food. Well, people really like Red Food, and they didn't care for Kroger, so they kind of left Chattanooga area. I think they had one store in Dalton, And then when they decided to come back into the area, they built a super humongous one with fuel bays and everything,
What
off
that big
Walnut Avenue, which is the big one.
that big
Did you
truck?
say did you
Oh
say
man,
red food or red bird?
Red food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that Kroger in Dalton. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
they don't have a huge amount of the items they have in stock, but they've got a much larger variety of
Mhm.
items they have in stock.
Well, the one place that's also not been here for 30 years, and I wish it would come back, is the Jewel Osco stores. We have one when we go to Elk Grove Village that we stop into, and it's just a beautiful store to begin with. It's super huge, much like pretty much all the stores up around Chicago, but they have wonderful sales. I just, can't get over. And I remember some of the ones that they had when we had the Joel Osco over in Danville back in the 80s. And mom even got, well, the old Jewel tea uh, dishware and all that you could collect by spending so much money back in the 50s and 60s. And that they had a kind of a 90s version of that up there. I remember mom getting a lot of that stuff, but it just didn't survive down here. Yeah, well, and Danville is a depressed area, and that's part
Well,
of the reason.
Mm.
the the Kroger that you saw in West Walnut, Dan,
Yeah.
um, a long time ago, that was once Sky City,
Oh wow, I haven't seen a Sky City since the '70s.
and I think it shut down early '80s. I want to say like
Yeah,
'84, somewhere in there.
that was one of the stores that would give um, Walmart, Kmart, and Zayre a run for their
Mhm.
money on the amount of stuff that they had and different varieties that they
Yeah.
had at very competitive prices.
Yes, they were one of my favorite stores to go to as a child. Um,
There's actually an Athens area band that came
mhm,
out about the same time as the B-52s were getting
mhm.
noticed, and they were called Little Tigers, and
Excuse me.
Bless you.
they put a out a couple of vinyl
Hmm.
45s,
Hmm.
and one of the ones was Sky City, but they did it as a reggae song that was really fast paced. They called it Ska City.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh, and it's really cool. I've got a copy of it. It's too bad the only time I ever saw them live, I didn't have the 45 with me, so I couldn't get it
Hmm.
autographed. But it'd be a collector's item today because they're all split up and gone off into other big name bands now. I
Yeah,
mean, Athens is like that. I mean,
yeah.
uh,
I mean,
and we just
Athens
had
has
that
been
anniversary of the B-52's beginning.
yeah.
yeah, and it turns out Kate.
Excuse me.
God bless
Uh,
you.
it turns out that Kate actually shops at one of the uh, charity shops that Lindsay likes to go to.
Oh,
So we might run into her there sometime.
yeah.
Uh, they actually it was a combination of the B-52s and REM contributed some musical instruments to an art show that my figure drawing professor at UGA was having to show off some of his artwork. So we got to see all of his artwork, which we didn't know what he did because we were just students, and got to listen to some. Um, well, it was entirely random music. They had a guitar propped up against an amplifier to give it feedback, fed through a synthesizer, and they would use Yahtzee dice and um, what's the not Go Fish, but
Oh,
there was a card game.
Homemade.
No, it was all numbers,
oh,
but they would use that as they had a chart set up like a D and D.
Wasn't Uno, was it?
Uno. Yeah.
Yes, it was Uno cards and Yahtzee dice, and they would roll the dice, pull out a card, and change the settings on the synthesizer to adjust the sound that was coming out. Basically, they were just using the guitar and feedback from the amplifier as a tone generator, and using the keyboard as a modulator. Very very simple and basic, but it was a really nice art show. Let me tell you, and that was
Apparently,
really,
they were big fans of Frank Zappa. I take it.
Yeah.
well. I missed meeting the B-52s by 5 minutes. I showed up a little too late. I mean, I'd seen them around. I know them by sight. And the guys from REM still walk around Athens when they're not, in New York or wherever. Some of them still live around here, and so do some of the folks from B-52s.
Well, someday you and Lindsay may be in the supermarket, and looking down over the other aisle, you'll see this big bouffant hairdo going bobbing by. You better run around the corner and see if that's one of them.
No, it wouldn't be the supermarket. It'd be this charity shop, basically. But hey, it wouldn't surprise me a bit to see somebody world famous walking around in a grocery store in Athens. I mean,
Hey, they got to eat too.
Hey Dan, the last Sky City I can remember seeing. This is some time ago. The chain may be dissolved or bankrupt or whatever, or got bought out by somebody else. But I remember seeing one in Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Really?
Yeah, and I believe that's Fannin County's county seat. But it was years and years ago. Like I said, I hadn't been through that area in a while.
Well, I haven't seen one since the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah. Well, there was actually Walmart had a store chain that was actually less expensive stuff in it than Walmart. Interestingly enough, it was called Big K.
Yeah.
My grandmother loved shopping there.
That's what Kmart changed into, Big K.
Yeah.
You're muted, Stephanie. You're muted.
Thank you. I was trying to talk to the cat earlier and I forgot.
Yeah.
No, it was a Big K and Kmart were completely separate entities, corporate entities. Because I know that at one point my dad was talking about setting up my dad did in his latter years before he retired, he did basically he was a systems analyst effectively, and he would set up accounting, programming, and systems for computers for companies. And I can't remember which one it was that he was proposing to, but I found out real quick that the hat that I had bought had come from the other one, and they didn't like it much. So they were two very separate entities.
Yeah.
Yep. Around here, the Kmart would shut down and the Big K would open up in the same building, which would lead people to think that it was the same company with a rebrand, but two
Well,
different companies, as you say.
Yeah.
I worked there when it was a Big K, the one in Danville, and everything they had in there was referenced to Kmart, and it was Kmart. Um,
They may have
and
did
it
that
was
when
part of the Sears Holding Company. So when I worked at Big K, I not only got the discount there, 10%, big deal, but
Hey,
I also got I know, yeah, it pays the tax, but I also got a discount at any Sears store as well. And which that was actually a little bit better deal because then I could go buy my Levi's and Craftsman tools.
Oh, that's
No.
interesting.
yeah,
I miss both of
Big
them.
K was a division of Coons.
enlighten me.
Coons was a chain of variety stores, found also called Coon Brothers, founded in Columbia, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
And Big K was an offshoot of Coons.
And see, I remember Sky City too that Chris was talking about, and I'm looking up about that said January of '91 is when the last one closed, but they don't really tell you what. I mean, evidently it must be a bunch of them that closed all at the same time, because it doesn't tell you when the last one was. But it was because of Walmart was too much of a competition.
Mhm.
The reason why they went out.
Walmart.
Well, they actually, according to the Wikipedia article, they actually merged with Walmart.
Yeah.
So they got bought out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That
I
wouldn't
mean,
surprise
Basically,
me.
yeah.
I mean, Walmart. If they couldn't put you out of competition, they would buy you out of competition.
Pretty much, yeah.
well, and that's like our Zayres. I heard you mention them earlier. And
Yeah.
I worked for Hill's department store and Ames. After Zayres and Hill's department store successfully went through a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, then you find out a year or two later, oh, Ames is moving in and buying them out. And Ames is actually just a liquidation company that they would continue to carry a certain percentage of the store's brands that they bought out, add in some of their generic brands, and then lo and behold, the store's gone. You know, they announce a big closeout liquidation sale, and it's gone, and it was all money racket from it.
Yeah, and I will tell you a couple other stores that due to mismanagement and embezzlement and other stuff.
A&P.
miss.
Yeah.
No, actually, I was thinking of Service Merchandise and Farmore.
Oh, yeah.
And up here, where you had a Service Merchandise, we had the sister store, K's Merchandise.
Excuse me. And what was the?
I still remember from the 60s when A&P was revealed to be a money laundering scheme had been bought out by the mafia.
Yep.
And all the A&Ps closed due to this being made public knowledge. Thank you, Walter Cronkite. Yep. This might have been a good thing at the time. And then they tried to make a comeback after they had recovered and rebought themselves from the New York Mafia. It wasn't the Chicago Mafia; it was the New York Mafia.
I remember they had a store near Midtown in Atlanta.
Yep, was a very, very good grocery store.
Greater Atlantic Pacific Tea Company.
What else was?
I also heard UPS was originally a money laundering thing for the mafia.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past anybody. You you might be surprised at how far the fingers of the black hand stretched, but there were lots of hands in lots and lots of pies.
Yeah.
Um,
It definitely hit the automobile industry back in the day, and there are a lot of comments that they're still alive and well in the automobile industry today, especially the electric vehicles.
and
Which, how's that Tesla stock doing? Not very good right now.
Well, actually, I know somebody that was in an accident. I believe it was F.M. Sterling, the author, that bought him a Tesla. I actually, back when I used to do
Excuse me.
quiz bowl / college bowl stuff, one of the guys that I played against, who's a teacher, bought him a Tesla a while back. Of course, he was on Jeopardy too, so.
well,
They're
Oh,
having
some
some
Jeopardy.
problems recently, and that's why their stock is dropping. I'm trying to find out what it was.
Well, they lost, Starlink lost 40 satellites due to some type of phenomenon the other day.
yeah, and that was, as Stephanie said, that should not have been possible for what it was claimed the cause was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I bought me a Tesla truck. Unfortunately, this is all I can afford.
Yeah. It's funny, that looks like actually common drawing from kids back in the 70s and 80s.
Oh Lord! Oh, have you seen the meme? There's actually somebody out there that took a photograph of one of those really weird trucks that kids used to draw that looked like something Jeff Clampett would be ashamed to have welded together. I mean, this is right up there with a house with the lollipop trees and the little curly smoke coming out of the chimney, sort of thing that kids usually draw, and God knows where they get that meme from, because it predates the internet by 50 years. So,
Well, the truck I want to see was a short-lived TV series called The Highwayman. It had a helicopter that sprang out of the had Sam Jones and Jocko in it.
Jocko, yeah, that was the name I was trying to remember. He was rebranded Jetto for the series, but he had the helicopter. That was really cool. Sam Jones just had a nice little sports car that would come out from under the transfer truck. Highwayman is a good series. I've got it on the 10 terabyte drive over here, the full series. But it's a very, very bad VHS to DVD transfer. It's fuzzy as all get out. But
it probably could use some video editing software to help clean it up a little bit.
Hey, well, I don't have those resources, so
I understand.
I just watch a few episodes when I can. It's very fuzzy. It's not clearly focused. I mean, I've seen a lot better TV to video transfers than this, but it was a very good series for what it tried to do, but it was a little bit more focused in on the vehicles more than the stories.
Like every other series from the 80s.
Yeah, but let's not talk about Knight Rider.
Well, I was thinking about
Airwolf, Dukes of Hazzard, the A-Team.
No,
A-Team not as much.
Was not.
Well, yeah, no.
Airwolf was the centerpiece of the show.
yeah. The helicopter was, what was the one? Um, Blue something. The helicopter.
Blue Thunder.
Blue
Blue
Thunder.
Thunder. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only helicopter that has ever been shown to do a vertical loop
Mm.
on TV.
Well, the A Team, although the van wasn't the star of the show, but it was
It was a
whatever
significant.
vehicle that they created in a MacGyver type way
Yep.
that would beat the bad guys every week. That was typically the star of the show.
That
I found
Well, like the
that
bus
was
they did for
basically
the drug
steampunk
overlords.
before steampunk was.
mhm. I found the Tesla problems that were affecting the stock as well. They had a recall here recently. Let's see, this is dated February 9th of this year for faulty heat pumps and loss of heating in cold weather. I guess some of the Tesla owners were complaining about their vehicles not heating up in cold weather. So it says the automaker issued a recall and says it will address the issue. Over 26,000 the Model S's, X, and 3s, SX, 3s, and Y vehicles, these are all separate ones, from the 2021 and 2022 model year are included in the recall. So, yeah, you drive that Tesla just in wintertime, you better stick with a diesel truck or something, I guess.
I don't know. I think it's Melinda Snodgrass, one of our fellow writers, but a whole lot more successful than I am. She lives out in New Mexico. She's got a Tesla that started off as a lease, and now she has bought a new one, and she has very nice things to say about it. But when something goes wrong, she has to drive several hundred miles from where she lives in New Mexico to Albuquerque to get to the nearest service center.
Yeah.
Should have
So
made a left point at Albuquerque.
yeah.
Mhm.
So basically, she gets them to come and pick up the car from where she's at, and then service it at their shop, and then bring it back to her. She's not going to drive limping along several hundred miles from where she lives away from Albuquerque.
No, I don't blame her.
Well, yeah, it's common sense, but evidently they stand by their work and they do exactly the repairs that they claim, and then they make everything as close to 100% as they can do.
Well, I wonder if they do like some of the premium car brands. I know somebody's told me they had a Toyota before, and then they bought a Lexus, and like the difference in the cost of the oil changes for them were like really significant.
Nah, I don't have the faintest idea.
Well, battery replacements on any electric car are significantly different, excessive compared to regular batteries, because they're made in 3 or 4 different countries before they're shipped to the United States to put in the vehicle.
Well, I also heard of somebody that had a Tesla, and they were having problems with one of the batteries, and they told them, look, this battery is so hot right now, it needs to cool down, because if you try and drive any more on it, it could catch fire.
That's not a nice thing you need. That's not the kind of thing you want to hear when you're on the road 1,000 miles from home.
Didn't have that problem with the old Sears diehard.
No. And I think somebody's bringing back the diehard brand for batteries, but I can't.
They are. Even though I think the last Sears store just recently closed up by Chicago, like a week or 2 ago.
I miss Sears. I miss Kmart. I miss Sky City.
Kmart was just wonderful. When we first got the Kmart in Danville, way before about 10 years before we were here, Danville got their first Kmart in 1965, which was a big deal. That was their first big chain store that wasn't part of the downtown area.
Yep.
And they
Same
had
with
the
Kmart.
cafe, the K Cafe,
Yep. Same with Kmart and Dalton.
grocery
in fact,
store.
Dalton supported 2 of them for 3 decades. That's saying something.
When I worked there,
Almost 4.
I can remember my dad was trying to take one of the tractor tires, one of the back tractor tires off the tractor. And you're talking about 1.5 inch, 1 3/4 socket, and he had a socket handle, not a ratchet, but just a handle.
right.
And the things were on there so tight he had to put a piece of pipe over the end of the socket handle and jump up and down on the end of the pipe like a cheater bar in order to loosen up the lug nuts on the and it was all because we'd run over something and had to take the tire off and go ahead and have it patched up with an inner tube inside and get a new inner tube and everything.
Yeah.
He broke the Craftsman socket handle. This was a 1/2 inch drive with a handle about as long as my arm and about 1 inch, 1.5 inches in diameter, chrome steel. He took that sucker in there to Sears and said, "It's Craftsman. I need a new one." They just looked at him. I mean, here's this guy, 135 pounds, looks like Superman, got a broken ratchet handle or socket handle, and go, "Yes, sir. We'll be right with you in just a second. We just have to go back to the stock room and get another one. We don't have one out here on display." And they just treated him so nice. It's like they thought he had actually just broke the damn thing.
Well, they backed their tools 100%. I mean, and it was no questions asked. You did not need a receipt to replace a broken Craftsman tool.
Well,
if it had Craftsman carved into the handle of it, you got a free one if you broke it.
Yeah.
Now, my brother, who was a mechanic for umpteen million years, will tell you that the Craftsman of the last 20 years or so, maybe 25 years, they're nothing like the original Sears Craftsman. It had to say Sears Craftsman on it to be accurate. He said it was a better tool. But when I was working at Big K, this would have been early 2000s. Of course, the Penske automotive shop was closed down. The K Cafe was changed into a Little Caesars. And then the grocery store part had not been there for about 30 years almost. And it just wasn't really what it used to be back in the day of the blue light special.
Well, the thing is, when the 90s, the guy that was head of it, he over leveraged the stuff. He tried to upscale the stuff too much, and people were used to seeing good quality at low prices, but when you raised the prices up because you had better merchandise, they weren't expecting that, and they got overextended, and their creditors would not let them get good quality, decent merchandise, so they started scraping the bottom of the barrels, and the quality of the clothes and the stuff that they had went down. And people were like, "Man, I can go to Walmart and get better stuff for cheaper prices." And
Well,
was the first nail in the coffin, so to speak.
When the Big K closed in Danville, the Meyer grocery store in Danville made it a point to hire every pharmacist and every tech from the Kmart pharmacy, because they knew there were hundreds of these people, most of them being elderly, I'm sure, that had been going to Kmart pharmacy for, decades upon decades, and they wouldn't know where to go. They would, of course, they wouldn't trust Walmart or some of the other places. We had CVS and Walgreens in town,
But if they
but
saw familiar faces from the place
Mhm.
they go,
So they all went there. They were promised jobs, and they all went there. And it's the Meyer Pharmacy flourishes quite a bit. And if I did not already have a good relationship with the Walgreens in town, I would imagine that's where I would go.
well, folks, we've got 2 minutes left. I'm going to have to go to bed.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. Stephanie, anything you want to promote right now?
No, I've had fun. Anytime you want to go have a look at my books, please do. I'm pretty much making my way in the world now all by myself. So I really would like for you to check out my books. My website is www.stephanie-osborne.com.
Do you have a title for the new anthology that we should be looking for?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, so
Stephanie is going to be in a new anthology from Bain Books sometime in the near future. Look for her name. You will get quality. Bill, you got any art stuff you want to promote, or
Yeah, buy my art.
there you go. Bill,
Go to Sarton Art 76, artwork of Bill Sarton. I have a Facebook page. Join it, like it, follow it, sleep with it. I don't care. Just make sure you clean it off afterwards. And got over 400 sketches, and they're all for sale. And if I've already sold the original sketch, I'll sell you an 8x10 print a whole lot cheaper, and it's all readily can be purchased under my first name. And you guys are all going to hear my first name now, because Bill is not my first name. My first name is John Sarton, and that's the way I had to set it up on PayPal, which you can purchase all of my stuff safe and securely through it. So,
Chris,
and check out his BC work.
Oh, yeah, all his work.
And my AD work as well.
We're well underway for pre-production for Hallowcon this year.
We're in the initial stages of planning. It will be the weekend before Halloween this year. It won't fall on Halloween weekend.
Okay.
So stay tuned to Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing for additional updates as they become available.
All right. And anything you want from me, whether it is written work, is going to be on Amazon under my name, Dan Hollifield, or Dan L. Hollifield. It doesn't matter which one you search, you're going to get the same stuff. Any music that I do is going to be on Bandcamp. It's danhollifield.bandcamp.com. And on that note, it is 2 hours in. So
Good night,
thank
everybody.
you very much, folks. I really appreciate you being here. And we'll try and see you Saturday night. If not tomorrow night or later on tonight in the green room, then we'll see you on Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Thank you all very much, folks.
Take care, everybody.
Vaya con Dios, amigos.
Good night, John Boy.